doll with a, I think she's an S Club 7 doll, that needs new batteries, and I've tried every single screwdriver I've got. Nothing turns that. It just turns and turns, and I think it's widened the thread of that. That's what they call, not the thread. The cross thing in the crosshead. It's widened the socket of the screw, so it just everything you put in just turns round and round, and I can't get that out. So I've got to find a way of getting that screw out so I can put some batteries in her. No one can do this, but I have to maybe try some glue. Right, Sugar has been very good and lent me her batteries. I used brute force, bashed this with an awl, got that out, put them in, and she works. And this is what she sounds like. I wasn't going to let it beat me, so yay, she works. So I'll put Sugar's batteries back in. Oh no, I'll leave them in this one. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I laid her on the ground down. This thing just would not move. This screw. I laid her on the ground, got an old thing with like a thread on the end, put it on it, and then bashed it with a hammer, and eventually that screw came out, because I dug loads of her plastic out earlier, so I've mutilated that, but it doesn't matter because it goes back, so it doesn't need a screw. It can just go in like that. Doesn't need a screw, and she works. Yeah, I don't let things beat me, you see. No, reach for the stars. Oh, that's made my night. I found an outfit for her, but I've got to get some shoes because these don't fit. But yes, so she works now. Where is she? Where? Some shoes and they fit. Oh, the bag's gone down, but still she got a little bag as well. So there. Oh, I am pleased. I wasn't going to give up. There. There. Now I've put batteries in. Some of the ones I got from Poundland. The bottom row, that's not the one. It says she wants LR44, I think, LR41, something like that. And these are different, but they do fit her and they work, because I find a lot of these little batteries, as long as you get the right size, even if you get, as long as it's 1.5 volt and no more, if you get the ones that's very similar, almost the same, they still work. So that they do anyway, they work. And I've did a bit of research and I found out this little dolly is meant to be Rachel Stevens. Who's Rachel Stevens, you may ask? Well, yeah, I didn't know. I sort of vaguely recall her. Anyway, she was the singer in S Club 7. I knew this was an S Club 7 doll, but I didn't really know much about them. I think they're sort of poppy kind of band. It was not really sort of music that it's all right. But Rachel Stevens, yeah. And then apparently, oddly enough, she was I was in Sainsbury's cafe yesterday reading the Daily Mail paper, and she was in there. And someone was saying, how come Rachel Stevens never ages? How come she looks so young? She's in Bake Off apparently, or something, one of those programs. I don't know, because I don't have a TV, but she's in one of those TV programs. There was a picture of her, and there was a picture of her when she was well, they say 10 years ago. Well, she shouldn't have aged that much in 10 years. I mean, for goodness sake, she's 40. I think they said she's 40. Well, people should look young at 40. I mean, for goodness sake, it's not that old, is it? And they were saying, how come she doesn't look any older? And to be honest, I think Rachel Stevens' real is much prettier than cover her ears, this poor little doll. I don't think it really looks like her. But the fact is, she works now. You press... Oh, right, her bag's fallen off again. But you press this button on her back. And her foot stopped the recording, didn't it? It's pressed the button and stopped it. So let's try again. Yeah, so there we go. It's hardly worth all the bother I went to, because I used my awl to bash into the battery compartment to get it out. And I didn't really do it. It hasn't. I mean, I'd already damaged it slightly by digging some out, but which I wished I'd left it now. If I'd used the awl in the first place, I wouldn't have done all that damage. But it's not too bad. Look, I'm going to show you her. See, there's where the screw was in there, and it was totally stuck. So I dug out a lot of the plastic around the top, expecting to try and prise this off. And I still couldn't get it out. So I went downstairs, stuck the awl in, bashed it in with a hammer, and then the screw came out, and then I was able to lift this thing. This thing just cut. Hang on a moment. I did all this yesterday, and but I couldn't find it on there when I was looking. So anyhow, there's my very heavy but very trusty tool bag that I filled with different tools. And I've got this very, very, very heavy hammer. I don't want to drop that on my computer. It is a very heavy hammer, I'm telling you. So this poor doll, I took her downstairs, laid her flat on the concrete floor, nothing on. I mean, the doll had nothing on, not me. I laid her flat on the concrete floor like so. This awl is my grandfather's. I stuck that in that. Wasn't recording any of it, was it? I thought it was recording and it didn't record a flaming thing. She stopped the recording, didn't she? Anyhow, I did it. I had her like that, flat on the ground. Now, don't put your hand over it this time. We don't want it trying to show the people that might get a similar situation and can't get a screw out. You have to be... I gave it 3 hefty bashes with the hammer so that the thing was stuck in her like that. And I turned it, but I thought it was just turning round in there like the screwdrivers were in the screw, and it wasn't. So when I pulled it out, there was some resistance, and then the screw fell out. And I was so pleased, and I was able to just pry that under there, and then the battery compartment lifts out, and so I've put those 3 batteries in, and she works. Just stop that, because you know you can turn them off like that as well. So yes, and see, but that's what I mean. That bit up there, I damaged all that by digging that out, and I needn't to have done. I could have left that intact, but of course it doesn't show because it's when it's on her back. I mean, it's covered up by her clothes anyway. But that would have just made it neater at the top. I have got some of the bits of plastic. I could try piecing them together like a jigsaw puzzle with glue, but I can't bother to do that. But that's how people, in the man in the computer repair shop that I thought maybe he would have irremovable screws. In the camera repair shop, in the toy shop, they all said the same thing. You'll never be able to get that screw out. You just have to. I said, what can I do? So you just have to, you give up or throw it away. You won't be able to do it. So I always persevere. And so yeah, I did it. It's like I brought my computer back to life. I don't know how long for, but I think there's something, I don't know what it is. It must be I think it's the British ethic, like, if something's impossible, it is, and give up. If something seems if something seems impossible, that's because it is impossible. Oh, you've got to be realistic. You've got to give up. In other words, be negative. Just watch telly. But in other cultures, they think if something seems impossible, it isn't. There's a solution, and you just have to persevere until you find it. But I mean, my late friend who died, he seemed to have the attitude, you're not. He would have said the same anyway. Never mind. I go off on anxiety is terrible today again. I'm trying to keep it under control. I sometimes think I live in the wrong country in Britain. It's I don't know. It's I might be happier in America or Japan. I wish I spoke Japanese. I'd probably love it in Japan. But not with North Korea firing rockets over it. But anyhow, that's how I removed the irremovable screw from Beatrice here. Otherwise known as the meant to be Rachel Stevens. So yes, nice little dolly. Oh, bye for now. Bye. Don't cry. Put her bag on now. How long it's going to stay in place, I don't know, because it keeps falling off. I need to get one of those little elastic things that you use to keep it on. But I like finding a little doll that you can revive and yeah, it's going to fall off again. I'll solve that. I'll sort that out. Don't you worry.